What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation starts right now. It's GrindersLive. It's myself, former $1 million winner Bobby Gomes, talking tonight's. It's not 12 games. It's 11 games. 11 games. We lost Coors. Coors got wiped out because of weather. We always need chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. He was on top of that earlier today. He was telling us it was going to be orange and dicey. No sweat for Roth tonight. I will go ahead and drop the remaining of the weather report in the chat. Well, there's still a couple things out there. Most of it, I think, is actually stuff that's not on our main slate. Do hit that like button as you're hitting the weather button. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, do all those things. It is a television Tuesday. Let's go ahead and, let's reward the people that are here early and drop that first clue for television Tuesday. Tell me what TV show I am talking about to get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Jump in the Discord channel. Be the first person to tell me. One guess per clue drop. It'll be 5 clues periodically throughout the show. The first clue drop is around. Around is the first clue. Bobby, welcome. How are things? Happy Tuesday. I know you said you had some takes. I don't know if I want to expose you or not, but you said you had some takes as far as the basketball game last night. And I don't know if you actually watched it. I guess that doesn't stop anybody these days, but why fire off? What do you got?
I didn't actually watch it. I watched the dots. I had to watch the dots.
Dot takes, yeah.
But generally, the Celtics, they probably beat the Knicks in this series. They can't win a championship like this. They value three-point rate way too much. They had 3 fouls on Brunson and 4 fouls on Cat. They were up 20 points. They were shooting threes early in the shot clock. The threes weren't going down. They didn't move away from that game plan. Like, they didn't play within the context of the game. And in the playoffs, you have to do that. Like, drive it, Cat, go to the basket. Like, what are we doing? You know, it was 3.
Dunks and threes. That's the Boston philosophy. Dunks and threes. They'll always have that one game where there's an outlier game where they miss a bunch of threes.
You have to get. You were 1 of 9 in the second quarter from 3. And like 4-11 in the first quarter, and then you're still up 20 points in the third quarter. Like, change it up, and like, you're up 20 points. We're like, kill the clock a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like,
run the ball.
I like Missoula. I think he's a really good coach. I just don't think he was last night. I don't know. I want to see them win. Tatum, I just can't, like, if they're gonna trade anyone, I know the most they could get is for a guy like Tatum. He's awesome.
Yeah, of course. He's awesome.
He had 2 points in the fourth quarter last night.
Okay. He's still awesome. he's a top 5 player in the league. Maybe top 6. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, he is. But like, what is he in crunch time? Like, I need someone with like more killer instincts.
Oh, you can't. There's killer instincts, a thing that people make up for shows.
It's not a real thing. It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Well, you're saying it is a thing.
He doesn't have it, dude.
My issue with Boston, if I have an issue, is unless I missed something. Porzingis was not on the injury report, right? And he was not on the injury report for being sick.
He's on it today.
No, but he wasn't on it yesterday. Unless, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Let me know. Was Porzingis on the injury report? I don't think he was. And they pull the shenanigans all the time. And he played 13 minutes. He tried to gut through it. I guess he's had many games this year, games that didn't matter, where he just disappears and they don't let him play anymore for whatever variety of reasons. But they didn't put illness on the injury report. Like, I don't, the shenanigans these teams do. Just tell if the guy's not feeling well, unless I missed it. Steve?
Maybe I didn't see anything on the injury report either, but maybe it happened like literally mid-game, 2 minutes before they started.
Yeah, sure. That's a likely story. He's trying to save a couple $100,000. They're going to get fined, I imagine.
Do they get fined for that? Like,
yeah, of course.
It's not the regular season. It's not like
no, but there's an edge to like not tell. Yeah, I mean, they're in bed with DraftKings and FanDuel and other. They're in bed now. They're married. Then check out the mentions for DK and for FanDuel and for every sports book that people are complaining about. They want their refund.
Kayla sits courtside of the Celtics games.
Say it again.
Kayla sits courtside of the Celtics games.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. Maybe he's one of the DK guys. He's the head of DK or what?
Yeah, I think he's the COO. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of just a shady thing. You know, let the people know. You're supposed to let the people know because not everybody is fully interested in actually. People just like the action, you know. I'm not saying that's me, but just you have to accommodate your fan base, and part of your fan base is that. I did not have Porzingis overs for the record. I did not bet it. I actually,
your face got really red when you said that, so I would presume you're lying.
So this is going to turn into a humble brag, right? I did not play DFS basketball, but I played underdog basketball yesterday, and I think my highest owned player, I had like 70 or 80 lineups.
Take the victory lap.
My highest owned player, I believe, was Porzingis. I happen to land on a lot of Porzingis in my drafts.
Here we go.
However, it just takes one. It just takes one, Bobby. And we got there. We banked on the old underdog streets. That was.
Thank you, Steve.
I thought the Aaron Gordon 3 was going to get me, which, by the way, the basketball last night was amazing. It was spectacular. I have futures on OKC, and I was kind of bummed about them losing the game, and I'm not panicking just yet. But hell of a game by Denver. You know, Joker's just out of his mind. He's completely insane. He's coaching now. He does everything. Gordon, you know, awesome shot there at the buzzer. Some mismanagement there for OKC as far as the last minute or so, but tip of the cap, move on. But yeah, we got a series. We got a couple series. So a couple more going down tonight. Some more basketball. Curious. At least Cleveland's putting players in the report. They have 3 guys tonight that are questionable. So it might be dicey with Garland and Mobley and geez, I can't remember the other guard.
It's crazy to me that the Knicks are fully healthy and they play
Darius Garland.
Yeah. I don't know if we have anything on that, but yeah, maybe we'll get some clarity. Hauser, by the way, just got updated. It's doubtful for Wednesday, and Porzingis probable with his illness. Yeah, all of a sudden now they're using the injury report. Anyways, the people want us to talk about some baseball. It's an 11 gamer, so we have one less game to talk about. Coors, of course, was going to be reasonably popular, especially in the Detroit side, the lefties. But again, cross them off the list. No Detroit's, still plenty of spots. 10 total in Sacramento with the Mariners and the Athletics. I like both sides of that game. 2 of the weaker pitchers. They went 11 last night, so they went some extras. Miller threw an inning, 27 pitches for the Athletics, so maybe he doesn't go tonight. Maybe he's not available. He also threw a bunch of pitches on, I believe it was Saturday, 2 of the last 3 days, and they tend to not push him too hard. Some of the best pitchers in baseball also throwing baseballs tonight. Zach Wheeler, Paul Skeens, Chris Sale, a revenge game, a first blood revenge game for Michael King against the Yankees. Nothing really amazing as far as weather, kind of checking out Weather Edge. There's no incredible spots as far as anything that's popping weather-wise. And again, we lost Colorado. So, you know, yellow, green in New York, that's where the Yankees, green, yellow in Tampa. You know, Roth always talks about how Tampa's going to have those pop-ups on occasion. They're kind of dicey with, you know, just the way the weather is in Florida. And there's no dome these days. But as of right now, green, yellow, Roth will be out about an hour or so. Give you some clarity if anything that changes. But as far as we are right now, Bobby, we should be clean when it comes to weather. Give me your screenshot, how we see in the slate. I think we have some pretty clear-cut, like, best pitchers. I don't know if I like any cheap pitchers, to be honest. But I think there's enough cheap hitters to kind of make stuff work. How are you seeing this slate?
Yeah, so I'm currently not getting to a lot of cheap pitchers. Really, the majority of guys I think I have 7 pitchers in my player pool currently. It's Wheeler at the top versus Tampa. Tampa did throw like 7 righties at him. And he tends to get barreled by, I think it's righties. He's getting barreled up by lefties, sorry. And they threw 2 righties at him and 7 lefties. So it doesn't matter because I don't really think that the barrel rates for Tampa are insane. You kind of hit on at the beginning of the show, like, is Chandler Simpson going to really barrel him up too good, which I don't think that's going to be an issue. But Wheeler's going to be number 1. What'd you say?
I said he might get a double. Did you see the other day he scored from second base on an infield single? It was really impressive. He's fun to watch. I hope he sticks, but continue.
He's fast. He's definitely fast.
Yeah, he is fast.
Yeah, from there, it would be Chris Sale as my number 2 or Cincy. Cincy's off. Cincy's going to throw a bunch of righties at Sale, but I'm fine with that. Like, it's Chris Sale. Yeah. I think he'll be fine. Skeens is my number 3 versus St. Louis. I think he had a bump Skeens in the projection because the Livy Dunn Instagram reels. He just seems like the guy, if they're doing like a green line and the green line between the two
This
pitchers,
is your wheelhouse. I'm not watching these things.
In the video, Skeens seems like he's like he doesn't care as much, and she's like all over him. So yeah, the 3 for Skeens. Eric Johnson also gave him a boost in chat saying he'd get hit tonight. We know Eric Johnson's usually on the other side of the right plays. So Skeens,
what was his call yesterday? He was against the worst play. I wonder how that turned out. Let us know in chat.
Skeens is my 3 versus St. Louis. Liberatore versus Pitt. I don't mind that game for pitching. So I know he's not the greatest of pitchers, but I'm fine going there. Pablo Lopez is going to be in the pool, and Zach Gallen. It's mainly my pitcher pool. I know Gallen's gone up against the Mets. Pretty sure he faced the Mets pretty recently, pitched pretty well. So maybe that might be a reason to stay away from him. But yeah, those are my pitchers. I'm not really going low. Like, you'd always play Lugo versus the White Sox. I'm not really interested in any of the pitchers in the San Diego, New York Yankees game with the wind blowing out there. I think both totals moved positively, so not going there. Not playing Andrew Abbott versus Atlanta, Cade Povich versus Minnesota. Staying away from those guys. David Peterson versus Arizona, I don't really have any interest in. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me, Dean, from basically a pitching perspective. And then team stacks that I'm pretty interested in. From a 5.
Give me everything, but it's an hour show, Bobby. But we'll do the stack later on.
You can just get into it. You can get into what you want to talk about.
I know. I appreciate you wanting to share all the information. We got to stretch. We got to stretch it out. Crunch time does not show up for about an hour or so. Dave Potts, Cheese is good. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Erik Beimfohr here as well. By the way, I just want to note some lineup stuff. Yohan Moncada is back today for the Angels. We haven't seen him in a while. Merrill is officially back for San Diego. Wait, have we seen that lineup just yet? I don't think we have San Diego, do we? He's expected back.
He's expected back, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have
back too, I will say.
Say it again?
Good park for him to be back too in Yankee
Sure.
Stadium.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good landing spot as well. We saw Tatis get thrown out last night. By the way, not the best weather there today for hitting, for what it's worth. I want to see what Weather Hedge has to say about that. Also making an appearance we haven't seen in a while, Royce Lewis. This is his debut of the season. I think he got hurt like one of the last games in spring training. I'm pretty sure he's not played a baseball game since, outside of minor league rehab stuff. He's 3K on FanDuel. Just want to note that, against Cade Povich, who's one of the weaker pitchers. So, yeah, that's a really, really good price, and probably, if nothing else, cash game playable on FanDuel. Perfectly fine on DK at 4.6 as well. It's Jose Altuve's 35th birthday. 35 for Jose Altuve. Still doing it.
He's probably really like 40.
Oh, why would you say that?
I don't know.
He's like 5. He's had a spectacular career. Hall of Famer? I don't know. Maybe.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. Is Pedroia in the Hall yet?
I don't think so. I don't think Pedroia is a Hall of Famer. Well, no, I don't think so.
A lot more difficult.
Tough. It's tough to get into.
It's tough to get into. We're not talking about like the NBA Hall of Fame.
Basketball's much easier. Just compile a bunch of stats and you make it for basketball, basically.
Yeah.
Somebody else was coming back today as well. I'm forgetting who it is. Dylan Moore expected back for Seattle. I don't know if he's officially been activated or not. Teoscar Hernandez, boy, not in our slate, but going to be gone for a while. The Dodgers.
What happened to him? I saw that crossover over the wire yesterday, the Twitter wire.
I think it was a hamstring. I want to say. They're saying it's going to be out for a while. So
their team is
James. Oh, it's an abductor strain. Abductor strain. Say it again.
They have the injury bug like very bad currently.
Yeah, just as long as they're healthy by the end of the season, they'll be fine, right? That's just how that goes. Yeah. But yeah, Outman was called up and he's actually in the lineup tonight. Not on our slate, but just of note, I suppose. Dylan Moore probably back for Seattle as well. I feel like there's somebody else, and I did not jot it down, but it'll come up organically on the show, I presume. Kobe Mayo is in the lineup for Baltimore. He was called up, one-time, big-time prospect. Still pretty young, so he's super cheap as well.
Is he supposed to be good? He's supposed to be good. He got me a 0 the other night.
Yeah, he's supposed to be good, but I mean, I think he was like a top 10 prospect in all of baseball at one point. So
he wasn't the other night.
Well, I mean, you're going to base it on one game. You're gonna have some funky reports. Yeah, let's see. He was a 4th rounder, 2nd overall. Yeah, I guess he just kind of worked his way through the system. He's still just 23, so there's a chance he could be something as well at some point. But okay, let's dive in. Let's talk about it. You mentioned some of the pitchers, by the way. Interesting conversation. We can have Wheeler versus Sale. By the way, I know you're into this kind of stuff as far as extreme pitchers, umpire. You're a big umpire guy. We do have some extremes. If you need tiebreakers, if you need a tiebreaker, Zach Wheeler, extreme hitters umpire, Chris Sale, extreme pitchers umpire. I'm not saying to do that necessarily, but if that's your tiebreaker, so be it. Sale's cheaper, and he's also got a better chance of grabbing the W. So I actually prefer Sale over Wheeler. I like them both. I'm going to try to make lineups with both if I can. Salary at some point might become a thing. But just, I think I like Sale more than Wheeler. De La Cruz, the best hitter on Cincinnati, is significantly worse versus lefties as well. If you look at his career splits, I know he's a switch hitter, but much better from the left side against righties. Here's the umpire stuff. Extreme hitters umpire for that athletics game as well. For Springs, Wheeler, Hancock, Rasmussen, Sale, Verlander against Chicago is an extreme pitchers umpire. I switched over. The extreme pitchers umpire, Sale, Verlander's got Bill Miller taking on the Cubbies. Abbott versus Atlanta, also extreme pitcher. Colin Ray, extreme pitcher. He's kind of one of those cheapies that maybe, but I just don't want to venture into the cheapie land. I'm just spending up as far as arms. I just feel like there's a big opportunity cost, and I don't feel good about any of the cheap. Anybody below Liberatore. You mentioned Liberatore. He's just so solid, just super, super sound. Probably not going to be the top pitcher on the slate, almost definitely not, right? Because 21.6% as far as the K's dating back to last season. If you pull it up this year, we're looking at basically the same thing, 22.6%, but just a lot of ground balls and just doesn't walk anybody, right?
Wasn't Liberatore a top prospect at one point?
Yes. He was a big time prospect for St. Louis, and he was bad for a while. And it looks like he's figuring it out. I think he's figuring it out. And who we know is bad is that Pirates lineup. So he's the cheapest pitcher I want to run out there. I just don't want to mess with. You ran off some names: Springs, Hancock, Verlander. No thanks. I'm not picking on Chicago. Burks, Schmidt, Patrick. I guess you want to tell yourself a story. Maybe I think it's 9 righties again for Houston because it's always 9 righties for Houston. We're not really sure if he's good or not, right? But that Houston lineup's not great. Oh, there is a switch hitter. Caratini's in there. Not that you're afraid of Victor Caratini, but he did crack the lineup for the Astros. Who's the cheapest pitcher you're willing to roster? Because mine is Liberatore. You ran off some names. Was he the cheapest one you said?
Liberatore is the cheapest. I'm only playing 5 teams though, so if I was gonna run more, from a salary perspective, I don't. There's no one I really have interest in outside of it. Would just be really Liberatore. Maybe what's Seth Lugo's price? He's 8,700.
He's not cheap. He should be fine because he's facing the White Sox, but he's I think he's kind of an overachiever, but this is also the kind of team that you can get away with overachieving and continue to overachieve.
Maybe you could open up to Schmidt and Patrick. I know your Chad Patrick's going against Houston, and Houston's without Jordan. Houston, I just worry about just Houston's lineup in general, with Alvarez in the lineup, and if he's out, then maybe Patrick and larger field stuff. Clark Schmidt versus San Diego, who's a shell of itself. But now they're getting
Merrill
back, so maybe those 2 would be the only other 2 I'd consider. I don't want to play Colin Ray, however you say his name.
Yeah, Ray. I'm just thinking about he probably gets a win if he just sticks around and throws 5 innings. And that ballpark is pretty good today against the Giants. I think it is, right? Let me just double check. Yeah, 133 games, 65 is the temp, 48 is the due. We had the wind blowing in from right center at 5 miles per hour. In 133 previous games, according to Kevin Roth's Weather Edge, it's a pretty big sample. 31% hit in homers, 11% hit in runs, a 14% hit in ERA. So these games have definitely played pretty positive for the pitchers.
I didn't realize Gallen was cheaper than I'm fine playing Gallen versus the Mets. I know the Mets have been a buzzsaw, but
yeah, and Gallen's not been very good. Is the other part of that.
He pitched well the other night versus the Mets. So.
Okay, well, they say you're not supposed to play, the pitcher against the, it's facing the team back. I don't feel this way.
I think they played back to back. Let me check.
That was his last time out, and his best start of the season when it was against the Mets.
Yeah.
So maybe he's figuring stuff out. I don't know, but it's just been a little too dicey for me.
Lugo to be cheaper. Like if Lugo was cheaper versus the White Sox, he's at 8,700, like we said.
10.8% walks for Gallen. That's a little too much for me. The Ks are fine, almost 26%, right? So the ERA is almost 5. The Sierra is almost 4. Too many homers, kind of reverse splitsy. So I think Polar Bear is a really interesting tournament play. Nobody's going to play him, of course.
I was not happy last night when I didn't end up with as much Polar Bear as I wanted to.
I had a fair bit of him. Rowdy Tellez was my one stinker, and then the guy for Matt Olson's is still too cheap on both places. Now he's facing a lefty. What's that?
Tellez got 11 at like 2.8. What's his salary? Like he was cheap, I would imagine.
Rowdy?
Yeah.
I don't think he's playing tonight because the lefty's starting. We're not projecting.
No, I'm talking about last night.
Yeah, he was like 2.5. He's really cheap.
He got 11. It's not really stinking.
Yeah, that's right. That's fair. Yeah, that's a good point. He I think it was pitch ran for, which is, he's one of those guys, like the game is close, right? And he gets on base late, he's gonna get picked. Assuming they're down, especially if they're down, they're gonna take him out for a runner. And he lost his last at bat or two because that game went extra innings, went 11 or so. Anything else as far as pitchers? I'm trying to see if the chat is throwing any names out pitcher wise. Povich revenge game. Alexander is saying, did I say rostering Sale over Wheeler? I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to play Wheeler. Wheeler's more expensive. Salary is kind of a thing. The way I wrote it up today in the survey is I have him 1 and 1A, Bobby, as far as Sale and Wheeler. Wheeler's got a tougher matchup in a tougher ballpark. And, Vegas basically has him 50-50 to win. And then Atlanta is 225 favorite last I saw, taking on, against, Andrew Abbott. I think Atlanta's going to put some runs on the board. And we don't need those win points, but I'll certainly take them. And sometimes that could be the difference between the two players. So that's why I like Sale more than Wheeler, but I'm not going to fight you if you say you like Wheeler more. That's just kind of where I'm at. And again, I'm trying to pair them together if possible, if salary allows. Peak at ownership stuff, by the way, for what it's worth, what we have right now, pitching wise, and it's going to be all the good ones, right? Sale 36%, Wheeler 32%. Skeens 22, and I do think he's third. I think we've seen the Ks come down this year. Maybe last year was a bit of an anomaly. Maybe he's going to spike up more, but the swinging strikeouts do not suggest that he's like getting cheated necessarily. Lugo at 16%. I think King is a really interesting pivot. 14%, Lopez 13%, and that is it as far as pitchers in double digits. Liberatore at 9%. I think it's going to be higher than that, but maybe I'm wrong. Anything else here, Bobby, before we move on and talk about some stacks? I do want to fire off the second clue for our Television Tuesday gimmick. First clue, of course, was around. The second clue is Hollywood. I don't believe. I'm taking a peek now at the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. It's where you put your answers. I don't believe anybody answered correctly. If anybody binked it, I'll be very upset. I don't want anybody to bink it. It's a legit clue, but I don't want anybody to. I want to, a little bit of drama. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit, right? As long as we get a winner within a reasonable amount of time with enough clues, I'm good with that. But
finish it off. I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just saying that I know Steve's on top of it. He's checking it out. But yeah, all right. So nobody has guessed just yet. But around and Hollywood is our first clues. What was your thought, Bobby?
Yeah, so I just wanted to finish out pitching. Yeah, for me, it's Wheeler, Sale, Skeens, Liberatore, Lopez, Gallen. That's who I'm pitching tonight, ranked.
And your model was saying that Libby Dunn helps out the Skeens or hurts Skeens tonight. Is there Instagram stuff going on that I've missed?
No, the rally, they're doing like reels on Instagram.
Okay.
And it seems like Skeens.
Is he distracted?
If we're doing the picture with the green line going through the two of them, it would be more Skeens doesn't care as much as Libby Dunn does. So that's a bump to Skeens as well, of the fact that Libby Dunn is very attractive, and we bumped that in the projection as well.
Well, Skeens, is he still rocking that mustache? That's pretty attractive, right? Some would say. It's subjective, I imagine, but he's still got the stash going, right? Far as I know. Where's that gone? Is the stash gone?
I don't know. I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention to his looks, but yeah.
You didn't notice him in the reel?
I just noticed his demeanor. Like he wore the pants. Like you just tell he's the boss. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I haven't been following their relationship very closely, to be honest. I hope everybody's happy involved. But yeah, let me know in chat if Skeens is still rocking the stash. This is important. I'm sure somebody in chat's also seen those reels and noticed Paul Skeens as well. Anything else we should say as far as pitchers? We got 40 minutes for tiers. We have to introduce today's tiers topic. Let's see.
What did you pick for a topic? I'm just interested.
Tim says I'm 100% following. I'm not on Instagram. I know I'm supposed to.
You are on Instagram though. You are on Instagram.
I have an account that I've never used before that I filled out like 5 years ago and never once Instagrammed. What is it called when you send a post on Instagram? Like, I know I'm asking an old person question.
I don't know. I think it's just a posting. But
what's the term? What is the term people use? Let me know in chat.
I don't know.
Post?
Yeah.
Just post on Instagram? Okay. Okay, you just post. This is producer Steve. He's got his finger on the pulse. He's telling me that you just post. Okay, I never posted on IG. I think the kids call it IG. I'm pretty certain that's actually what that is. All right. Anything else as far as pictures, or shall we? Yeah, I'm still on my MySpace. You want to be in my top 8, Bobby? Play your cards right.
I sent you a friend request on IG and you never got back to me.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know anything about it. It wasn't personal. If anybody else sent me a friend request,
it's like
it wasn't personal. I never saw it.
Answer.
Yes. It's the same exact thing. We're done with pitching. Anything else of note?
That's it.
Okay. So had a little bit of fun with making this board today. I did not include you just because I already knew what I wanted to do. And, I figured if you had something, you would let me know. And we'll do plenty of shows. You got something in the tank, by all means, we'll fire it off later on.
Maybe I had something today and you squared me.
Well, wouldn't you have taken the initiative and said, "Hey, Dean, I got something"? At some point, you could have texted me. This is a two-way street, Bobby. But maybe you can play along afterwards. The tiers are already set, Bobby. But this is what we did. Let me know in chat. Athletes with food names. Best athlete with a food name.
Like, how did you?
It was based on one player, actually. One player who's been terrible with a food name. I just kind of let's just make a board out of it. You'll see. So do you understand the concept? Athletes that have food names. For example, these players didn't make the board, like Jim Rice, Jack Ham, CeeDee Lamb, Rob Deere, Venison, Coco Crisp, an incredible name. And he just didn't make the board for whatever reason. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Beef. Kobe Bryant, Kobe Steak. You get the concept? Who would you have on the board, Bobby?
I don't know. I think I might be Eskimo Brothers with Coco Crisp, though.
Really? Let's talk about that. That makes sense.
No, let's stay away from that one.
Oh, the chat's actually getting some people on the board. I did not get the Cornbread Maxwell, but that's
Harold Strawberry is a good one.
Yeah, he may or may not be on the board. Yeah, for sure. And I got a double one as well, which we'll talk about in a second. Big Meat Pete. That's a, I don't think that's, yeah, but several people in chat did mention Darryl Strawberry if you're old enough. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's reveal the board here, Bobby. I didn't know which way to go as far as the 1 versus 2 because they're both.
Is this the Jerry? You got this from that Uber Eats commercial?
No. I got it.
It's about food. Jerry
I got it.
Matthew McConaughey.
So I got it from just like Jake Berger has been terrible. I'm like, let's just throw Jake Berger in the gutter. He's down in the minor leagues.
Are you one of those people that hates mayo?
Yeah, I am actually. It's a random question, but yes.
People. You can't trust
mayonnaise is gross. Oh, it's vile. Like
you can't
genuinely like if we're calling it a food, it's my least favorite food. If we're calling it a food, I guess it's a food, right? It's something. A smear. It's vile is what it is. But
curry's vile. I don't like curry.
Well, that's that was my tiebreaker. Is that I don't like spice. I don't like a lot of things apparently. And Steph Curry is spectacular.
You don't have a very expansive palate.
My palate is it's an amateur palate for sure. So Jerry Rice made the board number 1, greatest receiver, one of the greatest receivers, arguably, depending on at least in his era, he was the greatest receiver. Randy Moss was probably better, but different conversation. Steph Curry, Rice played till he was like 44, by the way, which you never see. I think he quit. I shouldn't say quit, but was it the Broncos or Seattle? Like the last team.
I think it was Seattle.
He might have like not. He was in camp for Denver, and he's like, nah. They told him he's not going to like be a starter. He's like, nah, I'm good. So Rice number 1, Steph Curry number 2. I just think Rice is better than Curry, just the actual foods. That was the tiebreaker. That's how we did that. Darryl Strawberry was an incredible player, but he had issues. He had an uneven career.
What were his issues?
There's a 30 for 30 documentary on the 86 Mets. It's really, and they feature several of them, and Strawberry was one of them. There's several different docs. There's a 30 for 30 on Strawberry and Doc Gooden specifically, like with the best young pitcher, the best young hitter in baseball. And I don't know if you're into those kind of things. I know you're asking me sarcastically, but I actually answered your question. If you're into the 30 for 30 stuff, it's really, really good.
Is it?
And OJ, what's up? Is
it really, really good?
Yeah. Well, if that's your thing, if you like sports documentaries, yes. If you don't like sports documentaries, then it's not good. Like, have you been watching the Boston one on Max? I haven't started it yet, but I'm told it's pretty good. What
Boston one?
It's the Bill Simmons produced one. I can't remember what it's called. Celtic City or something like that.
Celtics?
Yeah. The entire history of the Celtics. Supposedly it's pretty. I think it might be done now. It might be on the last episode. OJ Mayo is 2 things, right? OJ's a drink. Mayo's a substance. And he also had a disappointing career, and I wanted to hate on mayonnaise. And then Jake Berger, just an absolute disaster. Burgers are delicious by all means, but Meadowlark Lemon's a good one too. Nice job there, Mr. Gerg. See, now the chat can just fire off with all these other names. Catfish Hunter, did I say Catfish Hunter? It's another one of those others considering votes. That is our board, Bobby. If there's anybody you want to add, by all means, but we can fire off our names, our teams. We'll throw them in the tiers. Top tier, Jerry Rice. Second tier, Steph Curry. Darryl Strawberry in his uneven career in the middle. OJ Mayo in the 4 spot. And then Jake Berger, who is currently toiling in the minors. All right.
Thumbs up.
Say it again.
Great tiers, Dean.
Do we like him?
You put a lot of effort into it.
Like, it sounds like you're being sarcastic, but I did put effort into it. I hear sarcasm. Okay, so Philadelphia's taking on Tampa, 7.5 total. Rasmussen, Wheeler, 2 of the better pitchers taking the bump. We didn't mention Rasmussen, just for the record. Maybe we mentioned him in passing. He just doesn't throw enough pitches for my liking, and I don't really love the matchup, and I don't love the ballpark, but I guess if you're running 150, if you want to get a pinch, by all means. Phillies, good offense. This ballpark's playing well so far in Tampa. I was actually going through today the stuff on Savant, the ballpark stuff, trying to, it's a small sample, but so far this season, this ballpark plays at a 121 as far as homers, which is 8th. And what that means is 100 is the league average. 121 means it's 21% better than league average. So it's been a positive ballpark for hitting, and a 103 overall park. So like 3% better than the average ballpark. Number 1 ballpark, by the way, so far this season, Camden Yards. Remember they moved it in left field? It's at a 116. Again, this stuff will change a little bit because the samples aren't monstrous. Their home runs are 187, which is through the roof. Also, probably has something to do with the fact that the Baltimore pitchers stink. So you got to kind of balance that out. But 187 for homers is an outrageous number. Where do you have the Phillies and the Rays?
I'm going to put both of them in OJ Mayo. I like the Phillies power bats. Harper, Schwarber. Those guys are perfectly fine. More of like one-offs or like a mini. But yeah, that would be where I'd have the Phillies. And then on the other side, Tampa Bay. Really not much there I love. Brandon Lau, I think, is fine. Aranda hitting fourth, I think, is fine. But the lineup like really drops off when you see Jankowski. It's in the 7 hole and Rortvedt in the 8 hole and Walls in the 9th hole. So like I don't want to.
Bad.
It's bad. So yeah, Phillies and OJ Mayo. Put Tampa. You could put Tampa and OJ Mayo as well.
Both teams in the 4 hole. We should go ahead and drop that third clue, by the way. We're a little bit behind on the Television Tuesday. Around Hollywood, those are the first 2 clues. Bobby, here is the third clue. Oh, like Baby Ruth also being shared. Yeah, Baby Ruth, Babe Ruth. I guess. Which came first? Do you know? I don't know. Amongst those 2. The third clue today, Bobby, for today's Television Tuesday is Child Star. Child Star. Around Hollywood, Child Star. That's our first 3 clues. After Philadelphia
Justin
and Tampa.
Bieber?
Say it again.
Justin Bieber.
Well, no, there's a television show called Justin Bieber.
Television show.
This is Bobby, this is Television Tuesday. This is not, Celebrity Tuesday. San Diego taking on the Yankees. King and O's revenge taking on his former team. First blood, first time facing him. Clark Schmidt taking the bump for the Yankees. No lineup just yet for San Diego. I guess they're waiting on Jackson Merrill because this game starts in an hour, less than an hour and a half. So typically these lineups are out. We're presuming he's going to crack it. And as far as I can tell, it's not been released just yet. But we are expecting to get Jackson Merrill back. Where do we have the Padres and the Yankees?
So I'm having trouble with these 2 teams. Like I like both teams. The total moved. I'm pretty sure the weather's good. Actually, high winds blowing in Yankee Stadium. Either way, the total move for both teams. I'd probably put them both in Darryl Strawberry. I think that's where you can kind
Former
of
Yankee.
What'd you say?
Former Yankee Darryl Strawberry.
Former Yankee, yeah. Former Yankee. Just want to check. Obviously, you could play Judge. Dominguez cracked the lineup. He's always going to project okay, but he stinks.
He's batting 5th. The Martian.
Ben Rice and Grisham, I like a good bit. Austin Wells, I like. Vivas in the 9 hole.
Yeah, he's cheap and second base stinks, so whatever.
It's kind of like a lefty Altuve, and he's not 40.
You're saying he's good as Altuve?
No, he's not as good as Altuve, but he's like a poor man's Altuve. They're both like 5'6".
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously in the hole, in the 9 hole at home, like you might like it.
We like that.
We do?
Wrap around. Nice wrap around.
I like players that hit first. That's just me, though. It's like a poker player saying my favorite hand is pocket 9s. I like aces. I don't know.
Yeah, I like aces. Yeah, you're probably the nittiest poker player. You probably only play hands if you have aces, knowing how you play DFS.
I'll play loose. I'll play fast and loose if it's for cheap stuff. If it's just for funsies. But I can be kind of a nit, yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Oh, by the way, Broccoli Boy keeps asking, do you guys have like a poker night? You and Tim and Broccoli Boy?
There might be. I mean, there might be. Yeah, there's a.
Why do you guys keep trying to get me into it?
I think you asked to be in it.
I'm not trying to get me into it.
We want to get your money. People they think you're a fish.
They don't want to because I'll have someone else play for me, and I have a friend who wants to bracelet. So
we don't like that. Yeah, that's frowned upon.
Like that.
That's frowned upon.
Really good friend who won a bracelet. Yeah.
That's geez. Is it the DK guy?
RBX, yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Reds and the Braves for
100%
sale.
efficient poker. I'd probably in DFS too at this point with the spins.
I'm just like a league average poker player at best. Whatever. I'm fine. I'm not going to drown, but I'm not going to like be the greatest player at the table. Cincinnati versus Atlanta, 8.5 total. Chris Sale taking on Andrew Abbott. Sale being one of the more popular players, taking the bump here. The Braves have a team total above 5. Abbott, I mean, this is the kind of pitcher you want to pick on at small samples, but a lot of fly balls, a ridiculous amount of fly balls, a lot of walks. Just 19 innings, right? 15.2% as far as walks. The K's have been good too. He's been kind of that 3 outcome guy. Walk, strikeout. I don't want to say homer, but fly ball. That's kind of been the 3 outcomes for him. He's also been really lucky as far as BABIP, 220, left on base, 86%. So his 2.84 ERA is good, but his 4.3 Sierra says a little bit unlucky, a little bit lucky, a little bit fortunate. But again, that's also small sample stuff. Braves and the Reds, what do you got?
Yeah, for the Braves, really like their team total win blowing out. Curry, I think I'm going to put them in Stephen Curry. I don't like Curry, but Dean thinks that Curry is a good food, so I'm going to put the Braves in Curry.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying Steph Curry. It's funny because Johnny G was asking in chat.
I know, I noticed. It was a good question posed by Johnny G, by the way, because I still don't know why we're doing these tiers either.
You still can't understand the concept? It's pretty straightforward. You've been here enough. The best tier, the top tier, you can just put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that's boring. That's not interesting. So we would throw things in a specific category and rank things. So 1 is the greatest tier, Jerry Rice. 5 is the worst tier, Jake Berger. And you kind of want to stack teams from the 1 and not the 5. It's baseball. Weird things always happen. But yeah, the higher you are up on the board, the more appealing the stack is. We don't explain that, but there you go. Probably should do that every so often. Finish your thought there, Bobby.
Yeah, so Braves I like. One I can tell you one I don't like is Alex Verdugo. I was under on him the other day when he was chalk and he went off and I wanted to break my TV. Riley, Ozuna, Olsen, Albies. I think these guys are all fine. Good plays. I think my favorite would be Olsen in the 4-hole. I think Michael
left
Harris.
On left.
Yeah, I like Olsen. I'm fine with it. Mike, and you might get him in a little bit more depreciated ownership. Not that it matters on an 11-game slate. And then White in the 7-hole I like a little bit. That would be pretty much it. Murphy got a donut last night. Maybe he comes around and hits a dinger tonight. I like Atlanta. They're not a bad stack at all tonight.
Albies historically better versus lefties as well.
Cincy,
I would only play Verdugo in a stack, just for the record, because he's not good left on left. Not a lot of power at all. I would only have him for stacks. If you're stacking Atlanta, maybe they get to Abbott and he gets 2 or 3 at bats versus the bullpen, but otherwise, no, thank you. But Riley and Ozuna to me look really, really good.
Riley
probably
fantastic.
I shouldn't say Olsen only in a stack because he hits lefties just fine. 238 ISO dating back to last season's a pretty strong number. Okay. Let's move on. It's the Giants.
Well, you didn't get Cincinnati. I didn't put Cincinnati in there, Dean.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Go for it.
Cincinnati and OJ Mayo as well. I'm not.
All right.
Yeah. They're all a bunch of righties versus Sale. Like, do what you want with it. I don't love Cincinnati.
No hot takes just yet, Bobby. There are no 1s, no 5s. I'm sure we'll get some at some point, but we're just kind of like around the middle,
work in the middle, team. Work in the middle.
You're working the middle. I think it's going to change. We'll see. I don't know if it changes here. The Giants taking on the Cubs, Colin Ray, Justin Verlander. Another game where the weather looks pretty good for pitching in Chicago. We mentioned 31% hit as far as homers. We've seen the Cubs kind of beat that before. A little bit tougher. They put up 9 runs last night. I don't know if there was any homers, to be honest. They did put up a 9 spot, maybe somebody homered. I don't recall, but it wasn't a lot of homers. It wasn't a homer fest for the Cubbies against Verlander. Verlander historically reverse splitsy. Obviously, what is he, 40 at this point? And he's been, for ERA, it's not been horrendous, 4.38, but, I can't imagine rostering Verlander against the best offense so far this season. That could change. But where are you putting the Cubs and the Giants?
So the Giants, I'm going to put in OJ Mayo. A lot of OJ Mayos tonight. Yeah. Willie Adames, Yastrzemski, they're fine. Chapman, have fun with it. The Cubbies have been hot, man. 9 runs last night. Looking good. PCA, I know you said he's due for regression on the show yesterday.
I was just saying there's some stuff.
He's swinging at a lot of stuff outside of the zone or whatever. As long as he's making Vladdy swung at stuff outside of the zone too, right?
Vlad? Well, I mean, yeah, I think he might have got that. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but
yeah, he swung at everything, Dean. So Ian Happ, Kyle Tucker, Suzuki. I think these plays are very strong. Michael Busch, you can throw in there. I'll put them in Stephen Curry. That's where I'll put them. 4-5 team total. Not in the 5 spot yet, but.
And you have the Giants and OJ Mayo, right? I assume the Giants got to go on OJ Mayo.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and knock out the 4th clue. We want to give away some premium. The 4th clue today is don't know. Don't know. Around Hollywood, child star, don't know. That is our first 4 clues for Television Tuesday. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. You can just go ahead and buy it if you don't want to play any shenanigans. You don't want to mess with any games. You can get the MLB package for the entire season. I think it's $425. They actually made a deal for the Combo Pro, the same exact price. So if you're playing DFS MLB, you can also play football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA. I'm sure I missed something. One of the sports, everything you think of, with the exception of NASCAR, for also the same price. Just commit to 6 months as opposed to going month by month by month by month. You save 35%. You get the MLB projections, basketball projections, PGA content, the Dave Potts, Cheese's article. Get my content, Bobby's content, the tags, all the stuff, the optimizer, the projections. I'm sure I'm missing some things, but everything, the bells, the whistles. Get yourself some premium. The link is in the description. Additionally, if you're in those player prop streets, 50% off your first month for props and pick'em. Another link there in the description. If you're playing underdog, you're playing just player props as far as your sports book, prize picks. We'll help point you in the right direction as far as what looks like the best numbers on the board. And it absolutely matters. You shop around, absolutely matters depending on where you're getting where you're putting your money down. That is the one thing that they don't talk about enough in the sports betting is line shopping. Line shopping is probably the most important thing to know. Okay. 4th clue is out there. It's around Hollywood child star. Don't know. Let's knock out the next game. It's the White Sox taking on the Royals. Seth Lugo over a 5 total again for the Royals. They're cheap. The Royals are cheap, but again, it's kind of Bobby Witt and a bunch of dudes. It is Tortellini Tuesday. So maybe Vinny P gets a hold of one against Sean Burke. Where do we have the White Sox and the Royals?
Steve's right on the White Sox. No Luis Robert. Their only MLB player that's on the roster.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that. Oh, yeah. That's important.
You got to stay on top of these things, Dean. You got to stay on top of these things.
I'm too busy making games. Yeah, you're right.
Making games. Yeah, you're all over the place, The Royals are interesting because, we've been against stacking the Royals as a 5-man. They have a very high team total. I did it on Sunday, and it worked out. Yesterday, I was under on them, which was good. Mm-hmm. I think Darryl Strawberry for the Royals is probably too low. I'd put them in Curry. I don't love the 5-mans. Like Kevin Biggio's in there, Furman and Isbell. Those guys seem like outs to me the majority of the time.
Also pinch hit risks.
I do like Drew Waters. Yeah, also pinch hit risk. Maikel Garcia has been on fire over the last week. I don't know.
Pretty good. Yeah, he might be all right.
Is that sustainable though? He stinks.
I don't know. He might be okay. I'm not sure. It's worth monitoring.
So Witt's the best player. Pasquantino's probably 2. Sal Perez can't run at this point. I don't know.
You don't have to run when you hit the ball with the fence, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, but when he's on base in front of whoever and they hit a double and he can't score, it's kind of frustrating. And you have 40% of him. India stinks.
Feels personal.
Another guy that stinks. Cheese clarified. Cheese knows baseball, and he clarified that India stinks. But he's got third base outfield eligibility. They do have a 5-2 team total.
He can stink at a variety of positions, which has some value to it.
Yeah, so there's value there, and so he's fine. And
I never play him when he's chalk. I'm right there with.
Is he chalky tonight? Yeah,
well, he's like just
chalky.
a cheap second baseman, right? And second base stinks. By the way, I was looking at that
because third base and outfield, Dean. He's not second base anymore.
Oh, they moved him off second. You're right. Correct.
Yeah.
So that makes him less appealing. It makes him less appealing. Tougher competition.
Yeah, I'm not in on India either. So yeah, that's KC pretty much.
By the way, so Perez, I know I was looking at this. If you look at his advanced stats, X slug, 94th percentile, barrel percentage, 86th percentile, X batting average, 97th percentile.
What's
X
his
WOBA,
real age,
92nd.
do you think? What's his real age?
Why isn't his age his real age?
He has to be 50.
He's got catcher's knees, man. It's tough. He's been on those knees for a long time. And so it's 9 innings. You know how many games he's caught throughout his career? I think they're throwing him at first base.
I think he's 35 or 34. So
34. He's 34.
Yeah.
But that's it's just it's a lot of wear and tear. That's why you see catchers just stop running at a certain point, right? You're lucky to get any stolen bases at them. But early in their career, but later on, their knees are just basically shot. I believe we have a winner, by the way, in the Discord for today's Television Tuesday. We'll circle back on that, but looks like one of the best at this game. They must have the home version because looks like Peterman took this down.
So it wasn't Justin Bieber.
No, the television show Justin Bieber was not Television Tuesday.
Around Hollywood child star, don't know. Okay.
Well, I mean, yes, he was a Hollywood. He was a child star. I don't know if he's a Hollywood guy. He was a Canadian, so I don't know if I don't know where he resides. But we'll discuss. We'll show it. We'll show it soon enough. And also, for the record, our guy Butto Jenkins actually put the answer in YouTube, but you get nothing. You get nothing for being first on YouTube. That's just getting reps in. That's just spring training. You have to officially jump in the Discord channel and submit your answer there. Okay, Baltimore, Minnesota. We got to pick up the pace here, Bobby. Baltimore, Minnesota. Pablo Lopez, Cade Povich, Minnesota. Another team with a team total above 5. They are welcoming back Royce Lewis. Also, Willie Castro, I believe, is back. And they sent down Julien. Julien is no longer on the team. He's down to AAA. Somebody else got sent down too. I don't recall who it was. But, Baltimore and Minnesota. And we are getting Cubby Mayo. It's another kind of a new face here for Baltimore. What do you got?
Minnesota and Stephen Curry. And Baltimore, I'm going to throw Darryl Strawberry works for Baltimore. What's so funny?
I just was laughing at a comment in chat, but it doesn't merit repeating. Producer Steve might just throw it on the screen though, but it did not merit repeating in any way. I don't know how it got past the censors. You have Minnesota and Steph Curry, and you have Baltimore, and you said Darryl Strawberry. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. The Astros, they have one lefty. It's Victor Caratini, not a very imposing one, taking on Chad Patrick. Hayden Wesneski taking on the Brewers. I think this is a pretty standard Milwaukee lineup. Just kind of a glance. I don't think one of the regulars that actually matter are out of this lineup. This is one of those games to me that just kind of doesn't matter in any sense. I don't think I'm playing any hitters. I don't think I'm playing any pitchers. It's happening, but for me, it's happening in a forest. It's not making a sound. Hopefully, it's like a 4-3 game with no strikeouts and no homers. How do you have the Astros and the Brewers?
Both in Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, okay.
What is that off the reservation? Maybe I should have put the Astros and OJ Mayo.
No. You put them where you want to put them.
Put the Astros and OJ Mayo. No Yordan Alvarez. I'm good with the Astros. I don't love them. Put them in OJ Mayo.
I'm not trying to influence you in any way, Bob.
You're influencing.
All right. We have Milwaukee in Darryl Strawberry. We have the Astros in Strawberry as well. Well, let's see. Are they going to move around or not? I'm not really sure. Let's see. We'll see what producer Steve does. We'll leave it to his discretion. The Pirates and the Cards. 2 pitchers we like tonight. Paul Skeens, despite the fact he's doing the reels on Instagram, I'm told, which may or may not be distracting him with his girlfriend.
He's not distracted. He's a man. He knows his worth,
And he may or may not be rocking the stash still. We did not get confirmation on that. Somebody let me know.
He's very interested if he's still rocking the stash.
It does matter. It does matter. Yeah, I mean, I had like a 0.1, my model. Nothing significant. But it's
Is there a reason why?
Aerodynamics. It helps him throw the ball with a little bit more oomph, I think, especially on a humid night. Paul Skeens taking on Liberatore. I don't really like to pick on Liberatore. He throws strikes and he gets ground balls, and the Pirates stink. Left on left, O'Neill Cruz. He's got a history of striking out a ton. He feels like I don't like to use the word safe, but he feels pretty safe. Positive ballpark for pitching. If anything, it's like neutral, right? I don't really want to pick on Skeens either, but you tell me, where do we have the Pirates and the Cardinals?
Cardinals are fine. I don't know. Cardinals and Mayo is fine. Pittsburgh. I think some Pittsburgh bats are okay. I know they have a 3.8 total. What's Canario at 2.4? I don't hate him. Reynolds is fine. This lineup stinks. Leave them in OJ Mayo.
What made you when you finally got the Gorski or Friolo? It's like
looking at the lineup.
Yeah. Every day it's like, oh man, the Pirates stink. That's right. Did they add any free agents when they had ball schemes? No, they did not. They had no interest in signing anybody.
They don't care. They don't care. They get TV money.
No, they don't care. They're making money, and that's all they care about. We lost Detroit and Colorado. And then when he leaves, like, I can't believe this turncoat. Like, why would Paul? He turned his back on this city. They X his name out in his jersey or whatever. Toronto taking on the Angels, 9 total. Jose Urena is back throwing baseballs. Good for him. Against Tyler Anderson. This to me, I was just like, it's a sneaky good game. I like this one a fair bit. No Toronto just yet as far as lineups. Did that just drop? We got the Mets. We got the Padres. By the way, Merrill is back. Padres, Tatis, Arise, Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, Sheets, Hayward's in there, Diaz, and Wade, who's horrendous. The Mets, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Marte. Why is Marte batting cleanup? Nemo, Vientos, McNeil, Alvarez, and Taylor. So no Angels just yet. No, wait, we have the Angels. No Blue Jays just yet. But yeah, this is like the sneaky good game but it's a 9 total. I don't know how sneaky that happens to be. You tell me. How do you feel about Toronto and the Angels?
Yeah, I don't. This lineup, the Angels lineup stinks too. But like, you kind of have to consider it with the total and Urena. Let's put the Angels in. No, we're not putting the Angels in. They can go in Curry. Toronto, I'll put in. I'll make the exception for Toronto. Put him in Jerry Rice.
Oh,
I like Santander a lot on this slate. I like Vladdy. I like Bo Bichette. Yeah.
Santander 3K on FanDuel. Really, really good price over there. I think it's cheap on TK too. It's like 4K.
Rodin's batting in the 9 hole. Yeah, I like Toronto a little bit.
So I wrote about the Blue Jays today. So Tyler Anderson, fly ball pitcher, control issues, and bad Ks. If there is a hiccup for Tyler Anderson, he's got a reverse split. So lefties have hit him better. That doesn't mean I can't play the righties. And Toronto is mostly right-handed. It doesn't matter. Their bullpen, I know it's small sample stuff, and I know it's kind of early in the season sort of still. Just the active roster, the non-active roster for this season, it's over 100 innings. Their bullpen's got over a 7 ERA, which is insane. Like insane. But the active roster is 6.66. That is their ERA right now. And also the homer to fly ball is well above everybody else at 1.85. It's outrageous. So that bullpen's been really, really bad. And that's why I was talking about like going through park factor stuff, early park factor stuff this season. For homers, the Angels ballpark has been the 3rd best, 146, despite the park factor being pretty neutral.
Is it in? It's in LA, right? Yeah,
it is in LA. But again, I think in part that's just the players. There's some wonkiness as far as the homer to fly ball stuff. It's not possible they have like a 70 ERA in their bullpen the rest of the season. Like that's basically impossible. 1.85 homer per 9 the rest of the season is really hard as well. But just also, they're probably not good either, as a collective. So I do like both sides this one. And Urania, he did it with 3 innings where he got absolutely hammered and then DFA'd. And we've seen, he's a retread that this might be it. He just kind of pops up every once in a while. But,
they can't find anyone else.
It's sad. Lauer might come after him. I'm not sure. He might be their long man if necessary. They might kind of piggyback the two. I like Soler as a cheapie, Ward as a cheapie, and Neto leading off.
Soler hasn't been good.
He's got power still. He still has power. If you look at the ISO stuff, let's see, this season specifically, 238 ISO versus righties, right on right. That's good. That's a good number. Neto 260 as well. Oh, Hoppy 298. So there's some power. I was going to have this be like my hot take of the day in the survey, but I moved off it to something else as far as the number of homers in this game. My hot take was going to be, Bobby, Toronto and the Angels, Seattle and the Athletics. 2 games combined, more than 10 homers. Every team hits at least 2. That was going to be my hot take. I was making it very complicated.
You should bet that, Dean.
Well, I mean, there's no at the Bobby book. Is that something I can book with you? Is the book open for
you're
that
going to get odds that favor me always.
Well, I don't want that. I don't want Bobby odds. Mets, D-backs, 9 total. Basically a coin toss. Vegas is telling us they're not sure. David Peterson, Zach Gallen. Do we have a lean here? How do we feel about the Mets and the Diamondbacks?
I don't know. I like Gino, Corbin Carroll, Kettle, Marte. I think those guys are fine. Lourdes Gurriel.
You said Gino? Who's Gino?
Gino Suarez. Eugenio Suarez. Gino for sure. Short.
I didn't realize you were that close.
Okay.
You call Gino. You got him Gino in the phone?
Yeah. And I get the Mets and Curry too. I like Gallen a little bit tonight. Like, whatever. He's in my pool, so I don't want him to get too reffed up.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. So I'm giving you a hard time, but
it's Kenny Malton, Dean, Gino. They call him Gino.
Yeah.
Eugenio.
Carroll's been on fire this year. It's left on left.
You never heard of Gino? Named Gino?
No, I know the name Gino. Yeah. But I was who's
my girlfriend actually considered that as a name for our 3rd kid, and I denied it very quickly.
You nixed it? Do we have an official name? Do you want to give a reveal, or we don't know just yet?
I think it'll probably be like Michael or Matthew, just normal names. Dean, we're normal guys over here,
That's the chalk.
My off the board name was Gunner.
Oh, okay.
Gunner
Henderson inspired or just a?
I think so. Yeah, I like Gunner Henderson.
Okay. Who's Danny Jansen? Isn't Danny Jansen your favorite hitter in all of baseball, if I'm not mistaken?
Danny Jansen, yeah. Him and Travis d'Arnaud.
Here's Darno Bobby Gomes. Bobby, the middle name, just in case Darno does not like the name Darno. Last game on the slate is Seattle and the Athletics. Biggest total on the board. Kind of a coin toss. Jeffrey Springs, Emerson Hancock. This game went late last night, 11 innings. So the bullpens worked pretty hard for what it's worth. I talked about this earlier in the show. Mason Miller threw almost 30 pitches. He didn't pitch yesterday. He pitched 2 out of the last 3 days. So maybe there's a chance they give him the rest today. We'll see. Which would be positive for the Mariners. I love Kyle Rowley. He's one of my favorites. Springs throws a ton of fly balls. He sort of survived because he was in Oakland before. Now he's in, Sacramento. They don't want to tell you where they're at for some reason. They don't want to be married to. We're in parts unknown, and we're the Athletics. That's all we can tell you. But the ballpark so far has obviously played pretty positive out there. Talking about the short sample stuff, 132. On the 100 scale for homers so far this year for Sutter Health Field, 32% better than the average ballpark, and it's a 112, was second best ballpark according to Straight Ballpark Factor. So, small sample, but it's looked good, as we've all kind of suspected. Mariners, Athletics, what do you got, Bobby?
Yeah, both going in Jerry Rice. I'm with you. A lot of home runs might be hit tonight in this game. Cal Raleigh
Game stack? Do you want to say game stack?
I know.
Dave's listening. Crunch time is here. They're in the ballpark.
I know. Yeah, I know Dave's here, and I know Roth's here, and Roth, they don't allow that.
Well, Roth doesn't care. I don't think
he's been cracking the whip a couple times.
They're calling it the double dip, just so you know. They're trying to make that
double
a thing.
dip. Yeah,
that's the fetch.
So
yeah.
For me, like, you want to get pieces of this game for sure. Julio Rodriguez is like the Trey Young of the MLB.
Oh, I like this.
He profiles very well for me tonight, so I'm there.
But he never does it. He never gets there.
He never does it. Yeah, he never does it. He's like a fake superstar, but whatever. Big dumper is who you want. Just dingers.
He had 12 in the season.
Saturday. And then he let it off he had a home run in his first at bat. Then later in the game, nice granny. So like Raleigh, Arozarena, did he make the lineup? We don't know yet.
Probably not. The lineup is not dropped just yet, but probably not. We're not expecting.
Dylan Moore should be in there if he's leading off. We like him. Yeah,
we got him in the 9 hole, but it wouldn't shock me if he's up higher than that. Yeah. Probably it would shock me if he's lower. If he's somehow lower than the 9 hole, that would definitely surprise me. But we're assuming he's going to crack the lineup.
Yeah, and then the A's. I like all the A's, like Butler, Rooker, Soderstrom, Shea, Bleday, Kurtz will finally do something. Maybe we'll see. And Urias in the 9. I can play all the A's.
Yeah, I like this. I like this ballpark. I like both these offenses today a good bit. I would like to have a Rose running back, but I assume he's not. One thing you do have though is you'll have a lot of cheapies. Like you don't want to play Mastrobuoni or Rivas or Williamson, but they're all cheap. Solano's really cheap.
I'm happy it doesn't look like Tellez is in the Seattle lineup.
The thing is like he's probably going to spell Solano if the situation calls for it. Just be prepared. Don't be surprised if righty's in there. It's a 5-5 game in the 8th or something like that. He's probably gone. But who knows? Well, you can't really predict these things. If it's a 10-0 game, they probably let him stick around anyway. But and then Kurtz. One of these days, Kurtz is going to do something for the Athletics. I don't know if it's going to be today, but one of these days, it's going to happen. His track record suggests it. Let's go ahead and run down the board. Bobby, by the time I'm done with the rundown of the board, and also people want to know, they want clarity on today's Television Tuesday. We'll give them clarity. We already have a winner. Shout out to, I believe that's Peter Porker over there in YouTube. All right, top tier. By the way, crunch time to listening or those that are joining us late. We power ranked players, athletes with food names. So number 1 on the board, Jerry Rice, Toronto, the Athletics, the Mariners. Next up is Steph Curry, the most popular tier for Bobby. The second tier, that's the Cubs, the Braves, the Royals, the Twins, the Angels,
Twinkies,
the D-backs, and the Mets. Right in the middle, Dale Strawberry, uneven career. Yankees, San Diego, Merrill's back today. Baltimore, Houston, Milwaukee. OJ Mayo, 2 foods? OJ food? Kind of, sort of, if you're rounding up. Tampa, Philly, Cincinnati, San Fran, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and in a tier of their own, Jake Berger. It's the White Sox. We should just permanently have them entrenched in the 5 hole. That's where they are today.
You say that, but they keep every time I've been on a show that night, they've put up like 8 runs. For whatever reason.
Okay, but how many homers? Not all runs are created equal. They don't hit any home runs.
Yeah.
Hoosier saying banners. That's Peterman 79. It is not Peter Porker. My apologies. Took down today's Television Tuesday. Television Tuesday. Around was the first clue. The main character on this show was a child star. We'll talk about that in a second. A child star. Well, no, Macaulay Culkin was not on a TV show. This is Bobby. This is Television Tuesday now. This is not Movie Monday.
These are very strange clues. Very strange clues.
Well, it all makes sense. Horsing Around. This main character was on a TV show called Horsing Around when they were a child. This show takes place in Hollywood. Again, this was a child star, kind of a washed-out child star. The fourth clue is don't know. And like you could take that one of 2 ways, because if you're old enough, you remember Bo Jackson? He knows baseball, football, he knows everything. But some other people would say that you don't know jack. They would sometimes add another word to it. You could do that with your own imagination. Jack squat. You don't know Jack Squat, Bo Jack Squat. And then Saddle was the fifth clue. We didn't need it, but it was there. Saddle was the fifth clue. This is Bobby. This is BoJack Horseman. Remember BoJack Horseman?
Nope,
on Netflix.
Not a clue.
Somebody said that they're not going to play because I don't
took these clues one of two ways, though, for sure.
Somebody said they're not going to play because they don't like the based upon what I watch, and I don't always pick something I watch. For the record, I have seen BoJack Horseman. It's a lot of fun. But Bobby, homers, before we bring in crunch time, what do you got for me? Who's going?
Santander, Ozuna, Rooker, and Cal.
Rooker, Big Dumper, Santander. Who was the fourth one? I like all those.
Ozuna.
Yeah. Oh man, we agree. We agree, Bobby. Let's see if crunch time agrees. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. Let's bring in Kevin Roth. Let's bring in Dave Potts, Erik Beimfohr. Crunch time right now. So I don't want to be a bummer, but it's been a couple days. Beimfohr, you are
damn it. I knew it. I knew you were going to do this.
Just take me through this because we've unprecedented. You're a Blues fan, correct? I don't know what your fan is, how much you're a diehard.
You can see the Stanley Cup autograph poster behind me, a bunch of autograph pucks. Yeah, the Blues, especially with the Cardinals in the absolute toilet and like in the worst part of the toilet, right? Like the White Sox, like you just write them off for 10 years. Cardinals are still trying to pretend like they're semi-serious. So they're a joke. The Blues are all that we have to live for here in St. Louis. And so that was miserable. That sucked.
Were you watching alone? You were watching?
I watch alone. I'm an angry playoff fan of my teams. So
my dad's like that.
The wife doesn't even come down and watch with me. She has to stay upstairs. Yep.
Yeah, and like people don't know Winnipeg scored one. Well, they actually scored 2 goals with like a minute and a half to go.
2 goals in the final 2 minutes. One with 1.6.
Just yeah, absolutely bonkers. That's and once you go to overtime, even though it's a 50-50, it's over. That's just how that goes. Yeah.
I liked your food game though, Dean. That I was feeling blue coming in, and I liked that. I was sitting behind the scenes trying to think of as many food names.
Others receiving votes: Julius Peppers, Coco Crisp.
Yeah, Coco
Kobe
Crisp.
Bryant.
I can't believe Coco Crisp didn't make the list.
Well, where would I put him? Brutus the Barber Beefcake was a fun one.
I like
Candy Maldonado.
For DFS nerds, Dwayne Bacon was one that came, like Dwayne Bacon is the ultimate DFS, March NBA play that came to mind.
David Fry, and then don't forget about Channing Fry. Channing Fry was also considered as well.
A lot of fries, a lot of berries, CeeDee Lamb, a lot of lambs.
Yeah.
How did CeeDee Lamb not make the list, Dean?
Well, because you can only have 5 names on the board, Bobby. That's just
you had
Mike
to get
Trout,
Jake Berger on there.
Mike
really
Trout.
had to get Jake Berger on there.
Chili Davis is a good one. Yeah, I saw Chili Davis.
You got to blame Dean's palate because he would never like Trout.
No, this wasn't palate specific.
He's very suppressed palate.
Yeah, well, that's a different conversation, but you're not wrong. Roth, how are things? You doing all right?
Yeah.
Are you happy that we lost Colorado?
Yeah.
Sweat now, right?
Good point. Yeah, that was going to be a freaking nightmare. So I'm very pleased with that outcome.
All right. Anything else before we step aside and make way for crunch time? I think we're good. Yes.
We're good.
Yeah.
All right. Myself and Bobby, we appreciate y'all watching the first person. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do all those things. You got 45 plus minutes of Dave Potts, Beimfohr, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz, in the house. Dave Potts, Cheese is good. What up, Cheese?
Not too much. Yeah, like everybody. Colorado is great. Like they usually tell you ahead of time or they play like it's a good they do it right, and not a lot of teams do. So great. If you're gonna cancel, just do it ahead of time, which they did. So even though it would be a good game to have on this slate, great. It's no problem at all when they do it that early. So bravo to them.
Yeah, and I even wrote in my write-up, like they famously wait it out. Like I have seen some like 2-3+ hour delays there, and they're just like, no, we're doing this.
I've been at a couple of those.
Yeah,
like, and you just sit there for 3 hours because they're going to play. And
right, like, all right, I guess we're hanging out. We got my guy Erik in the house as well. What up, Erik? How are you?
I am wonderful. I was just going to add to the Rockies discourse. Yeah, they do the weather thing really well, which is nice because they don't do much well as a baseball organization. So at least they can spare us with, we have to deal with the elevation, we have to deal with Coors Field, we have to deal with the worst lineup of all time. At least we get precise weather updates. That's nice.
Yeah, we appreciate them. And Minnesota. Minnesota's my number one. They have a meteorologist who I know who does the weather for them, and he's really good. And I'm just, that every team should do that, but most seemingly do not. Somebody said, "Hey, Roth getting sick." I am. So sorry if I sound like shit. I am indeed getting sick, but we're gonna fight through it. We're good. Cheese, give me an update here. We have 2 split slates going on. Boston on one and not on the other. Is that happening?
No, we don't need to worry about that game at all.
Great. Okay. Well, okay. Great. Somebody cares, right? Somebody cares.
I mean, there is I guess a 3-game or super early slate if you want to talk about it.
Apparently they officially announced a late start in Boston, and I think it's just because rain cleared through pregame, and I'm hoping that they're pulling the tarp and they're warming up and they're planning on playing. There's another batch of showers moving in, and I'm really hoping they're not trying to wait that out, because that is a recipe for disaster. So they should get out and play through light rain and or delay if needed, and finish the game. If they're delaying for that second batch of light rain, that's bad news, Bears. I don't think they're doing that, but hopefully not. But with that out of the way, and with Colorado out of the way, the weather concerns are essentially out of the way as well. Those are really the only 2 games that I had any worry with. So we get to get right into the content side of things, which is glorious. Let's go with Erik leading us off here with a little pitcher talk. What do we got? Talk to me.
So the pitchers on this slate, in both directions, as usually is the case, right? The pitchers drive both the pitchers that we want to play and the bats that we want to play. There's this weird, variable about this slate where the offenses that we really love to play are not facing the worst pitchers. A lot of them are facing some of the best pitchers.
Yeah.
And the crappy offenses, like we're going to talk about Jose Urena, right? And these guys, it's like that they're bad offenses facing bad pitchers.
Against bad pitchers, yeah.
So we have this push-pull of what do we do, right? Do we play the crappy hitters because they're facing a bad pitcher, or do we play the really good hitters in a not so great spot? And then that also impacts what pitchers we play, right? Like, okay, the good pitchers, aka like a Zach Wheeler, that's in a good spot, is going to be significantly more owned than the other pitchers, because Paul Skeens is facing, my Cardinals. I bash them as much as I can, but they don't strike out that much, and they're not the worst offense in baseball. And so it's a lot of goofiness about this slate, which for me, from a tournament perspective, means like, I don't mean to say I don't care about ownership, but I'm not like, I don't fear a fade of any, like maybe Zach Wheeler, but I don't fear a fade of anyone on this slate, which makes it a lot more fun for tournaments.
Interesting. Okay, very good note. Well, with that kind of setup, let's pivot over to Cheese. And Cheese, I will let you walk through your favorite pitchers. Is there anyone who has all the things that, good pitcher, good matchup, good weather, all the things happening, or no, not really?
Well, yes. So, and that's why that was an interesting setup, but a masterful setup from Erik to not actually talk about the pitchers and yet talk about them. That was incredibly well done.
He's still going to.
Fine,
He's next.
Fine, I'll do it. Fine.
That's a best move right there. That's a Dylan Brooks-esque pass off of walk off the floor and not embrace losing Game 7.
So pretty much Chris Sale and Zach Wheeler are your massive chalk. Chris Sale, especially because he's so much cheaper than Wheeler. And among good pitchers, they have the best matchups. They're not like the best matchups in the world, but they're much better matchups than the next guys, which would be Paul Skeens and Michael King. Mm-hmm. So Sale, I think, will be like 50, 60% owned in small field stuff on DK, maybe on FanDuel too. And Wheeler will be like 40, 50% owned. Like that is very heavy chalk. I'm fine with it. I'm playing them because I think we have this whole huge group of pretty good pitchers where it's pretty hard to imagine losing because you didn't play Seth Lugo instead of Chris Sale. Maybe Seth Lugo outscores Chris Sale. I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But like, it's a very thin road to like, I can't believe I lost because of how badly Matthew Liberatore outscored Zach Wheeler. Like, what, So I'm playing Sale and Wheeler. Just be aware that is very heavy chalk for a slate with this many good pitchers. I think both Skeens and Michael King are the two guys that get pushed way down in smaller field stuff that have the same ceiling. So if you do want to play the ownership game, I understand. I would say Michael King is the guy who will get no ownership. And even if Sale and Wheeler pitch well, he could beat them. It's not likely, but you can very much make the case for it. So personally, I'm just playing Sale and Wheeler because I'm so spread out with my offenses. If I was more focused on my offenses, I'd be much more into Skeens and King. But I don't think you're doing anything wrong if you say you just want to be over the field on the lower owned guys who have the same upside.
Yeah. Okay.
Below that top group, because those guys are all expensive. I think Seth Lugo and Matthew Liberatore are totally fine. Like, it would be surprising if either of them got shelled. It would be surprising if either of them put up a game you had to have. I'm fine with them. I don't love them. Cheaper than that, I would not do on FanDuel personally. On DK, the weird little mid 7K range, I don't like it at all. I ended up with like 1 or 2 Chad Patrick lineups. If you wanted to play like a Colin Ray or Hayden Wisniewski or something, have at it. I don't see it being necessary, and it's just not that much savings. And then the very cheap stuff is just really, truly terrible. But I'm not sure it's that much more terrible than the mid 7Ks. I'm talking like Cade Povich and Sean Burke, who could put up a negative 10. But if you don't get 12 to 15, you're losing anyway on this slate. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if you get me a negative 10 or a 5. That's the same difference. And there's a bunch of lineups you cannot possibly make on DK without one of those guys. So they are in my pool. And that's that.
Okay, very good. Erik, I want your thoughts here. You tried to dish it off. You tried to avoid it, but you're on.
We went straight Rajon Rondo. We don't shoot. We pass the rock. But I just want to add one guy. I'm going to stick to my slappy theme that I've been running out when I'm talking with Cheese, and a guy who I've been long, like really, really high on for, I mean, dating back to like 2021, 2022, had some injuries. Now he's moved to a different team, but Jeffrey Springs is one other guy that is in that 7K range that he's talking about that's really bad, that I totally agree with. Springs has not been awesome this year, but if we look, and there's some small sample-ish because he's been hurt a lot and just dealt with a lot of weird stuff, and now he's in a new situation. He's also had a weird year. Like, he's gotten shelled a couple times. Also, against this Mariners team in his first start of the year, he went 6 scoreless with 9 strikeouts and put up like 38 DraftKings points or whatever. And then last game, he strikes out 1 guy, right? He's really good, throws 68 pitches in 6 innings, and they pull him. Dean and Bobby were talking before we got on about, the game went late, a lot of bullpen usage. I don't think we're getting 68 pitches unless he just gets completely, destroyed in the first 2 innings. I don't think we're getting 68 pitches out of Jeffrey Springs. I think they need some length out of him. And look, the couple of the Mariners bats are fine, and I do like the park, definitely. But like JP Crawford, Donovan Solano, Ben Williamson, Leo Rivas, Mike Mastroboni, and Dylan Moore, like I'm not running away from that lineup with a guy who I think, will he end up being good at the end of this year? I don't know, but Springs has been good, and he is a cheap option, so he's in my pool also.
Yeah,
but I agree with the sentiment. Like, I just don't fear Sale and Wheeler like I might fear, a different chalk pitcher in a spot, because we do have a bunch of good arms, even if they don't project as well, or the Kings and these guys don't project as well, but I still like them.
Okay, you have a favorite pairing if you're trying to take down a GPP for me?
I think it's Sale, probably Sale Springs, just to try to get a little bit of savings off of like Wheeler Sale, or if somebody pivots to Skeens, right? Skeens is not going to be 0%. So I think the majority of the lineups are going to be double spend up ish, right? Call Sale a spend up.
Sure.
So people are going to spend up at pitcher, save me 3,000 or something. Now I can get shocker, I'll talk about the Cubs again. Like, I can get Kyle Tucker. I can get, whatever spend up bats, Vlad, etc. into my teams. Thank God Carson Kelly is not in the lineup, so we don't have to talk about that. Like, I can get a couple spend ups that other people aren't getting because they're playing, Wheeler Sale or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Let's talk about the bats and the stacks. You mentioned you're playing the Cubs, which they seem to do well every night. By the way, Hunter, Garland, Mobley all out for the Cavs.
Woof.
Woof. All right. Eric, what do you got here stack-wise?
Yeah, Cubs from a tournament perspective, I don't think they have the best matchup on the board by any stretch. But they are one of the best offenses. They are right there as the most fantasy-friendly offense. So they're like one of those Yankees, right? Cubs, Dodgers, whatever. Those offenses, when you come in and they're not the chalk and the matchup is fine on a slate, they just like pop off the board. To me, they steal a ton of bases. Pete Crow Armstrong is apparently just already a superstar, hitting home runs, which I did not quite expect. I'm not sure this sustains. Cardi would slap my wrist if I was touting his 2-week power surge, but like he's a big prospect and they just have a ton of
bags.
He's
got speed.
Even if the power isn't there, he can steal 2 or 3 bases in a game. So the Cubs are like my top tournament stack. The other ones are so hard for me to. Twins as the most popular stack, I get it, but that makes me feel very uncomfortable. Royce Lewis is just as likely to pull the hammy again today, I think, as he is to be in the tournament winning lineup, which scares me a little bit. And the Twins, while talented, are not one of the best offenses, and I fear that as at any level of ownership. But then I'm also going to tout 2 other offenses that I don't think are very good, but they're in good spots. The Royals are in one of the top couple spots of the slate, but it's like outside of Bobby Witt and maybe 2 other hitters. Am I excited to play Royals? Not necessarily, but I really, really like the spot. And then the Angels are the same way. I mean, the Angels are facing the worst pitcher on the slate, but that lineup is a disaster. It's bad with Trout. It's horrible without Mike Trout. So I am struggling a little bit with the stacks. That's why the Cubs stand out the most. That's also why I like to save, because the Cubs are very expensive. And, if I want the spend ups on the Cubs, they're expensive, but I can also get some savings with Royals, with Angels, and there's cheap Twins. And then the A's, I think, are just an awesome stack in that park, in that matchup, and with all the power that they have across the lineup.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Cheese, your thoughts stack wise?
Yeah, pretty similar. Again, just like last night, we said the weather, Kevin, held the Cubs to single digits, 9 runs last night. We had
an argument too about it.
Yeah.
We had a little minor disagreement, and I was like, it matters a little. You're like, it doesn't, not one bit, and it did not, not one bit.
And nobody's going to play the Cubs because of the pricing. They're fantastic. And that's the reason why I mentioned Povich and Burke in my pitching pool, so I can just go straight, Tucker, Suzuki, Bush, Crow, Armstrong, just do it. Same thought as Eric. Like it's weird chalk of Twins, Royals, Angels, and that those teams are chalky, all of them, at least pieces of them, and it's weird chalk, but it fits with the Wheeler sale, and that's why people, myself included, are doing it. But also, I'm going out of my way not to just play all of that because these are not amazing teams. Out of those teams, I actually think the Angels are the best one. Like if you look at the underlying numbers, the top 5 in that lineup are not bad. They all hit the ball hard and in the air. Like I think that's actually the team of that group that, like, taking out Bobby Witt and Byron Buxton, like I think that's the best team of that group. I'm also in on the A's. The sneaky team that I like is the Orioles against Pablo Lopez. And then the team that I don't think should be sneaky at all, but I'm definitely over the field, is Atlanta. I would call them my number 1 stack overall when accounting for sort of the mid-tier pricing on them. They're not cheap. They're not expensive. You can still play good pitching with them. I think they're popular, but not chalk. So I'm going to call them my favorite overall.
Okay. Good stuff. Guys, let's go around the horn, talk position by position. We want to give some bomb calls. We want to, of course, answer some questions as well. But Cheese, why don't you lead us off and talk about what we're doing at catcher?
Catcher's awesome. And
nice.
There's several not awesome positions coming up next, but catcher is awesome. Assuming we get both Mariners in there, even if you like Springs, those would be 2 of the guys you could play against him. With Garver being $3K, if he's in there, that's a useful salary saver. Raleigh's a little expensive, always in play. Langoliers is my favorite with Ohapi very close behind him. Ryan Jeffers, another good semi-salary saver. I don't really love punting catcher because all those guys I just named, and including Garver being $3K, that's kind of where I'm trying to stop.
Okay, very good, Eric. Your thoughts, catcher?
Very little to add. I agree. Catcher, like I think on FanDuel you could play 2 catchers, and like in years past we would like just move right past the position on FanDuel, and it's so much better than first base. And first base has saving options, outfield has saving options. The second base, which we will get to, but spoiler alert.
Let's not though.
Holy cow! I don't have a second baseman I would like to play on the slate. So right when we have that, I don't really want to go. Normally, old school 5 years ago DFS, 10 years ago DFS. Oh yeah, punt it off, right? Because we want to spend up elsewhere. I don't really have that. I will add one punt option just because Henry Davis is 2,200 on DraftKings. I think he stinks, but he was a former big time top prospect, and he has hit for power in the minors. And I think Liberatore's fine. I'm not convinced he's going to be awesome like moving forward, and the Cardinals bullpen is a disaster. So 2,200 with some power, I think it's possible he hits a home run for cheap.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Just seeing from It's Me Breezy in the chat, Red Sox saying they are starting at 7:15, which is good. That means that they're not trying to wait out that second batch. It also means there is a chance of an in-game delay. I'm hoping they can just play through some light rain, but certainly a chance of a delay from the rain that is remaining upstream. Let's go to first base, Eric. What do you like there?
Yeah, shout out Hoosiers in the chat. Tyler Stevenson is hitting the absolute piss out of the ball, but nice. 15 plate appearances. So forgive me. It's Chris Sale. We'll see. We'll see if
he's got that Carson Kelly pricing too.
Yes, he does. Tyler Stevenson and Carson Kelly are the Spider-Man meme right now for sure. First base to me is a little bit more consolidated. Not as good, not as bad as second by any stretch, but not as good as catcher. You see Vinny P at the top. I think that's understandable in the Royals. He's one of the Royals I do actually like. You can also play Salvi here if you want to do double catcher on both sites. You can do double catcher with Salvi at first base. Cheese, I think, mentioned the Orioles as kind of like an interesting little sneaky stack. If this is a place you want to save and not spend up, Kobe Mayo is in the lineup, first base eligible, and I'm not sure that he's like the world's best play, but I believe at 2,200, top/second best prospect in the Orioles, pretty loaded farm system. I think that's worth some punt shares. And then Vlad is probably if salary is not a thing and ownership is not a thing and all that, I think Vlad is probably the best play. Michael Busch on Cub stacks, and then Nick Kurtz. It's time. It's finally Nick Kurtz is going to do it tonight for the A's. This is going to be I'll keep saying this every day, by the way, until he homers. But Nick Kurtz is going to finally hit a home run tonight.
Okay, you say it every day. It will happen eventually.
Exactly.
Cheese, your favorites at first?
Yeah, I think we got to bump Kobe Mayo up after the GrindersLive board. I wasn't really thinking about him much before, but yeah, it's a good play. I do actually like the bottom of that Orioles lineup is so cheap. That's the thing you can do to be different than Twins, Royals, Angels. Basically, I'm playing Vlad everywhere. He's priced up on DK. I don't really care. Vinny P is great. Like, he's probably the cash game play. But I don't love Vinny P chalk outside of stacks. Christian Walker is about the only Astros bat I'm kind of interested in. There's a lot of positions where there's really good players that nobody's playing. Like, for example, Bryce Harper and Pete Alonso. Like, they're facing good pitchers, but not like the best pitchers of all time. Play some Bryce Harper and Pete Alonso. Like, that's the way you do this DFS thing.
Yeah, good move. Second base, which I think you said you did not want to talk about, but that is part of our job. So we do.
What I'm going to do is give a big soliloquy about the slate and then pass it off to Eric. How do you?
I knew it.
Yeah,
nice.
It's interesting because we got all these second basemen who are not that good, but facing the bad pitchers. And then, so what do you think, Eric? Okay, so really, the only guy I like at the position is Ozzie Albies. So that's on FanDuel. He's 2,900. I think you just play him and move along. Ketel Marte even is only 32 on FanDuel. So I do think it's easier on FanDuel where the good hitters are just basically free. But DraftKings, like I don't want to pay these near 5K prices for any of these guys. I do have Albies. But so what I'm doing, we talked the other day, I think it was Friday, about how Erik has a Edward Julian problem and I have a Brooks Lee problem. Well, Julian's out of the lineup, so I'm stuck with my Brooks Lee problem.
The Julian problem is still not going well.
Yeah. So Brooks Lee and Willie Castro, and Kyron Paris are the three guys I'm playing. We talked about these teams are going to be chalky for this reason. Like, it's kind of the only place to find these cheap bats. I do like some Jackson Holiday, but for the most part, I'm playing those Twins if I can't get to Albies.
Devin's curious if you have any Turang at second.
I have 0.
Okay. All right.
So
Erik?
expensive. Turang is like the Carson Kelly of second baseman. Like, he had a few big games and now we just keep him at 5K or whatever. Like, I can't figure out. He's not a good hitter. He's fast, but it's bizarre. I wish I had something like really cool to add to second base, but I'll go on a long soliloquy about the slate and then move on to third base. I think I do think being willing to not even just spend down, right, but go to some just like unique variations of second base, because there's no opportunity cost. Like Marte, Albies, whatever, but they're $5,000. Like I like the Cubs, right? I'm willing to play John Birdie, and like he may never hit a home run all season, but like he could steal 2 bases, and he's a part of my stack. Like, go score 15 points, and dude, like, I'm totally good. Luis Urias, right? You're playing the A's. Urias is hitting 9th. These guys are hitting 9th. They stink. They're not that good, but they're like $3,000, and they're in some of the best offenses. Yeah, good stuff. How about third base? A little bit more fun. Not great though. The third base is not totally awesome. This is with the Royals stacks, the point where it starts to get a little bit murky for me in terms of how far I want to get into Royal stacks, because I really like them. Maikel Garcia is off to a really good start this season. He's hitting for power. He's stealing bases. I think it's just like overall WRC plus is like 150 or something. Like, he's elite basically so far this season. The matchup is awesome. And you have power and speed combo. Normally that'd be a slam dunk when he's not one of the highest owned guys. But it's also Maikel Garcia, and it's really hard for me to imagine that this thing is real, right? So he's where I'm like sort of flip-flopping a little bit on what to do with the Royals. I do like him. If you're stacking the Royals, I think he's a perk of the Royal stacks, not like I got to play Michael Massey or Jonathan India or something like that over him. I think he's a perk in those. I mostly agree with the ownership here. Like Austin Riley, it makes a ton of sense because the position is not really that great. I do like getting a little bit gross at third base because I feel it's not that different from second base in terms of not that much opportunity cost. So like if we like the Angels, like nobody is going to sit here and talk about Luis Rengifo and Yohan Moncada as good Major League Baseball players in the year 2025. But they're like $3,000 on the Angels facing Jose Urena, like in a good spot. It's like nobody's playing them. Like I'll suck it up a little bit, if I'm not playing Twins, if I'm not playing those, these other like kind of chalky stacks, like we got to look to some of those guys. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Cheese, your thoughts at third, please.
I'm a little more excited about third base, I think. So Riley is my highest owned bat on the slate. Like he'll be the chalk at third, but it's not like mega chalk, so I'm not concerned about it. The other reason I don't quite like punting as much as at second is out of that next group, the Royce Lewis, Suarez, Chapman, Machado. Like there's more slate breaking potential out of that group than the 5K guys at second. Like you're not going to very often lose a slate because you didn't play, Bryce Turang or Bryson Stott or even Ketel Marte right now. So, but those are all like, all those third basemen are like 2 homer guys. Yeah. So I'm a little scared to just pass on that whole group. So I'm mostly spending up at third. But the cheap stuff's fine in all those stacks, the ones that he mentioned. But I'm just not playing these Royals guys. Like the Jonathan India thing is so like, speaking of people who are not good, it's him. He's not good.
No. Okay, well then we get to go to shortstop, and I know there's somebody there that you like, Cheese.
Yes, Bobby Witt is the anti-Jonathan India. Bobby Witt is good. Like I know they hit right next to each other, but only one of them hits next to the other one. Yeah, love Bobby Witt, love Gunnar Henderson at very low ownership. You can always play Ellie De La Cruz even against a great pitcher. You can play Lindor against a good pitcher, but because Gunnar Henderson is also that low owned, I would just prefer to play him if not doing Bobby Witt. Carlos Correa is kind of weird chalk. The price on DK is fantastic. But he's still just not like, he's not what he used to be. I get it. It's fine. I would rather play Willy Adames if you have a little extra money. Or Zach Neto if you have a little more. But really, I want Bobby Witt or Gunnar Henderson. I am like, in all whatever transparency, I am playing a fair amount of Carlos Correa because the salary, and like you kind of run out of things if you're doing the too expensive pitchers. But that's more one of those, I would tell you that I'm playing him like a donkey, and I don't necessarily think you should.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw this, no big dumper for Seattle.
Oh.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
It's interesting because, so Moore's up hitting 6, so I think that's better for him. Polanco is in the lineup, and Arozarena is in the lineup.
Oh, the Randy is back. All right.
Yeah.
Got it. So, yeah, got to rework those Seattle stacks for sure.
Yeah. Okay, Eric, your thoughts at shortstop, please.
Same thing, Bobby Witt. If I can make it happen, I'm lighter on Carl. I'm just a little lighter on the Twins. Overall, it's what Cheese just said about like, this is what I'm saying. Like, do as I say, not as I do. Say not as I do.
Yeah,
is like I'm admitting like I'm just being stubborn about Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa, and like fool me 17 times. Like, what's the rule now? Like I've done the Royce Lewis thing like so many times. Every year I get excited for Royce Lewis, and then it's hamstring injury after hamstring injury or God knows what. So it's bias. Okay. I'm putting it out there. I also am just like lighter on Carlos. Like, he's not Jonathan India by any stretch of the imagination, but I think like the name Carlos Correa is bringing a lot more than like the bat Carlos Correa is in real life. On the flip side of that is Zach Neto, my favorite shortstop, where I think the name is like, who? Like, people are like, who is a Wolf of Wall Street? Who?
Is owl?
Yeah. What are you, an owl? That's Zach Neto, the owl. But probably Kevin for sure. There's no alternatives. There is 0-for-4 with 4 strikeouts, 2 home runs, or pulls his hammy going to first.
Yeah, first inning.
So there's he's the 3 outcomes player. But Neto to me is a genuinely very good baseball player that no one thinks is like treats like a very good baseball player. Yeah, he's also just a very good fantasy asset. And then Bo Bichette was a guy, but like we haven't given up on Carlos Correa yet. Bo Bichette is in the we gave up area of shortstop, and I'm not saying that that's wrong, but he's in a pretty good spot too. So that's where I'm looking at short.
Okay, good stuff. You get the honor of leading us into the outfield. So what do you like there, Eric? Yeah,
tons to like here, as one would expect. So I won't try to hit every single guy, but this is where I do really love the A's. Of course, we like Langoliers. Of course, I mentioned Kurtz at first base, but where the A's really pop off here is, I mean, to me, Rooker, Soderstrom, like even Butler, these guys look really good in the outfield, whether it's, you can get some cheaper options. You just get like double, triple home run upside with the Soderstroms and the Rookers, and the Cubs guys are all awesome. Like, I want to get as many of all of the Cubs, Tucker, Suzuki, Happ, and PCA out there. Soler is another kind of like, kind of chalky-ish, but like not so much that I'm super concerned, and 2 home run upside. And one of the guys a little bit, not showing on your screen that I don't think we've mentioned a single Giant yet, but Mike Yastrzemski, I like here today, hitting leadoff, platoon advantage. Colin Ray is fine, but like I don't fear Colin Ray for a guy with some home run. And Yastrzemski's been really, really good this year, and nobody's playing that dude because nobody's playing the Giants tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, go through the outfield. Someone asked me about humidity, and so I need to get on a humidity rant in the YouTube.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's been a while since we've heard the humidity percentage.
God,
I remember, and I want to hear it. I'm here for it. So give us.
I may just do it verbally.
Yeah, please do. Just give us a second, because we don't need it before lock.
That's true. After lock, I will give you the reasons why humidity percentage is literally the worst metric of all time, and no one should ever look at it.
I love it. It's like me talking about game stacks.
Yeah,
it's fake. It's made up. It doesn't exist, and people don't understand.
Not only is it made up, It's made up, and it's the dumbest made up thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's used daily. God, I hate
Awesome.
it.
Can I just before you go
game stack then?
Yeah.
Before you go, Cheese, can I just give the one of the first times I've hung out with Roth? We're coming back from at the Super Bowl party. I think it was a Super Bowl party, and we had gone out and we're in the Uber on the way back, and I think my wife was looking at the weather on her weather, like the Apple weather app or whatever, and Roth went on the whole car ride home this rant about how terrible those weather apps are. And my wife, we'd all had a couple of cocktails or whatever, and like she was like, she was like not like actually offended, but like, geez, he really got mad.
He really feels passionately about that.
Yeah. His weather app rants are great, but not as good as the humidity percentage rants. So just wait. Okay. Anyhow, outfield real quick. The non-important things. The A's outfield is great. Rooker is probably my favorite play on the slate, and/or Byron Buxton outside of twin stacks. Buxton and Rooker. I'm under on Julio Rodriguez. I like him more on FanDuel where he's cheaper. Like, he's just one of those guys he's a very good season-long fantasy player, not so much a great DFS player. Soler and Ward, I'm playing. I think they are too cheap. And like I said, I think of the weird cheap chalk, I think those are the guys who are actually good power wise. Like, they're going to have a lot of offers, but their power is still real. Definitely the Cubs. I like getting to a little bit of other spend up that people aren't playing, Tatis in particular. The mid tier, I don't love. I think Ozuna is the only guy kind of like mid fours that I'm crazy about on DraftKings. And I think that's all I want to mention.
Okay, very good. I want you guys to do a little home run research. Find me a couple names, somebody up at the top, somebody a little sneaky, maybe 3 names if you're feeling generous, and come with something good. In the meantime, I'm going to make sure we pay the bills. We're gonna hit those promos. So, hey, did you?
I thought you were going to do your humidity rant, and that's how.
No. Let's save it after lock. We'll get to that. MLB DFS annual option 425. The bones. I don't know. I'm all out of clever ways to say.
You're rattled. You're rattled right now.
That's it. But we dropped the price of our Combo Pro to mirror the MLB annual package, so you get more stuff at the same price. And if you go month by month, you're paying 35% more than if you just do the 6 month. So do the 6 month. That's the smart thing to do. Everybody should sign up. It's phenomenal. Schmeckles was brought up, and greenbacks and guap. Those are all good ones. All right. Ducats. I like that as well. Okay. Let's do some more run calls. Eric, who do you got for me?
Very first one, I mentioned it. I'll keep saying it, but I actually think it's both a good pick and a good bet. Our good friends at Scores and Odds and our projections team agree. Nick Kurtz, we have him as a really nice value, even just in the home run market. You can get him at MGM at plus 775, and we have him more in the 600s range. So I'm not trying to steal Grant's home run touting stuff here. We leave that to the experts, but I just like genuinely think Kurtz is a good one. And then got to stick with my boy Zach Neto, and we're gonna ride the PCA wave. PCA hits another one today. The power is real.
Love it. Okay, geez, you got a few names?
Sure. On the chalky side, I'll go with Austin Riley. On the less chalky side, I will go with wait for it, Brooks Lee.
God.
This
and and how about couldn't be sneaky, but is Eugenio Suarez.
Okay, very good. Also, Pete Alonso. That's Pete Alonso gonna hit a bomb.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's a whole bunch of
Grant.
people that are just elite players that are sneak. Like you say Fernando Tatis or Alonso or like any of these guys. And yeah, of course.
Yeah. People now giving me all the nicknames for money. You got to get those in as I start my read. Those need to be in so that by the time I get to that portion of the read, I can read them because I'm going to forget them all by tomorrow. Let's see. We got some questions here. We do have a golf show, by the way, at 7:15 Eastern, so you want to make sure that you are hanging out for that. I absolutely love our PGA content team here at RotoGrinders. I think they're phenomenal. They're very smart and they're good people as well. So make sure you are sticking around for that. Our guy Budho says, is Cheese related to the Super Mario Brothers? I could picture him running around punching bricks for a living because of those massive hands that you have. Jeez. They're enormous, dear God.
Yeah, the bricks have very little chance. And I can jump high too. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Sneaky high jumper.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we got any real questions. We'll take a few of these. If we run out of questions, you're getting a dew point humidity rant. FanDuel's single entry. Cheese, thoughts on sale with a Seattle Oakland double dip. Double dip is the word.
Yeah, you can definitely.
I see that you fixed it for him in the chat already.
Yes. You're welcome. Yeah. Prefer the Oakland side with more mini stacking on the Seattle side, but yes, you can double dip that one.
Okay, good job. Let's see here. Eric got one for you. DK Cash making you work. Outfield 3,300 or cheaper. Making you do your research.
Yeah. Let's see. 3,300. Oh, look at that. It's just so happened to, this is meant to be.
I was going to make Eric look for that one like immediately in my eyes. I've been clicking that button all day at 30.
Yep, I just quickly turned over and right on the screen, Taylor Ward. Yep.
Very good. You gotta work double time here because D-Rock wants you to look up a price as well, Eric. DKGPP, your favorite one-off in the outfield at 4,700 or less, not allowed to be from Seattle.
Oh, well, that's easy. I'm not worried about Seattle, so I appreciate that. So 40 PCA is 48. So then we'll go Ian Happ. We'll go Ian Happ. Well, I mean, we can handle the leadoff hitter for the Cubs. I think that's okay.
Okay, very good. Let's see if we got any more questions here. Can we get Eric and Dave's top 5 stacks on DK? Top 5's a lot. How about top 3? Can we get top 3? Is that fair? We'll do top 3. Eric, your top 3 stacks.
Cubs, Angels, A's.
Okay. Cheese?
Braves, Cubs, Angels.
Okay. Very nice. Cheese, Soto, Soderstrom, or Crow, DK Cash.
Honestly, even though we haven't even mentioned him for a second, I would do Soto.
Yeah. Okay. Guess what? We've got a break in the questions, and that gives me time for a dew point rant while you come up with some questions. Here's the deal. This humidity percentage that you see, and you see it everywhere, is a measurement that takes into account temperature. And I'm going to try to scroll up and see if I can find the exact question, because it is exactly why this metric is so stupid for anything. Scroll up.
It was about why it changes at night.
Yeah, here we go. Andres Alfonso says, I've got a question for Roth about weather. Why does the humidity increase into the night? I always thought humidity would be higher during the day when the sun is out. This is such a good question. Why would humidity percentage increase in the night? Does the moisture in the air magically freaking change at night? Is it a new air mass that sinks in and changes the weather pattern at night? No, it's not. Here's what's going on. Humidity percentage takes the dew point, which is a measure of how much freaking moisture is in the air. That's what you want. And it compares it to actual temperature for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why, but it compares it to actual temperature. So during the day, when the temperature is very high, the humidity percentage is low because it's just a smaller fraction. And then at night, when the temperature drops, the humidity percentage somehow increases, even though the humidity stays the same, the temperature drops, and now it's 100% humidity. The moisture has not changed. Nothing has changed in the humidity. Well, the number we want is not humidity percentage. It is an absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous number. We want dew point. That is the measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, and that is what you want when you want to know how humid it is.
There's so many good comments.
That's terrible.
That's amazing though. It's terrible and yet amazing.
He lives in Alabama. That's not, you can't.
Don't point at me.
Do that.
Don't point at me.
I pointed at
you on the screen.
He always points backwards.
Yeah, you've been
doing that
backwards.
for 3 years. It's always been backwards to you.
Point the
But
opposite.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm pointing at Cheese.
Like,
You're
right
pointing
now.
at Eric. I promise
Yes,
you're pointing at Eric.
You're pointing at me right now.
This
To
is
the
this is
YouTubers.
not fair.
In your brain, yes.
Not in my brain. Literally
Go
on
the
my
opposite.
screen. I am
Go the
pointing at
opposite.
Cheese right now. All right. Anyways, that's the issue. That's why just never look at humidity. I hate you watch people on TV, these professional meteorologists like, oh, the humidity is at 72%. What the hell are you even talking about, man? Do you not even know what that means?
That other Kevin Roth brings it up like it's a
That
real
other Kevin Roth, yeah. That freaking guy. All right. Well, that got at least enough time for some questions in. We've got 5 minutes until lock. Let's see what we got. At least I think it did. Maybe. Okay, Rooker or Riley, Eric. Which one are you prioritizing?
Ooh, I prefer Rooker, but both very, very good.
Okay. Jim says Cheese, low ownership, Phil's, San Diego, and Twins for DK. For low ownership, Philly, San Diego, and Twins.
Yeah, so if you do Philly and San Diego, then you're free to play the Twins, chalk. Yeah.
Okay. If as a letter carrier, if I tell my coworkers there's a really high dew point out, they will think I'm nuts. No, they will think you're smart. They will realize that you have incredible meteorological knowledge, and they will be impressed by you. Shout out to Kirkwood in the chat who says, "Preach, brother, brother, preach." He's got the dew point model. Okay, what else do we got? Scrolling down. Hey, I got A's and Angels Cheese in a mini stack. Should I go Kurtz or Shanwell at first?
I mean, really, either one is about the same play. Honestly, I would play Shanwell. I think more people are playing Kurtz, even though he's lower in the lineup, just because like he's the shiny new toy. Shanwell is actually fine. So I would lean to him.
Do you think he's ever going to start hitting for power? He's like a good, like real life, get on base, type guy. It's just Kurtz is like the home run. Like Kurtz is, big time power upside. Shanuel's like a better hitter at this point.
Yeah, I need to see power from Kurtz in the majors before I believe he has it.
Yeah.
He'll definitely get it. Like he's going to be good, but I'm not sure he's there right now.
Yeah.
Eric Ruthless Villain says, "You like the Stars, or the Jets?"
Oh, Stars. Jets are frauds. The Blues gave that series away.
Yeah. Okay. Alex says, "Cheese, help a brother out. DK Cash second base, 3,400 or less."
Yeah. So second base on DK, it kind of doesn't matter who you play. I would, if you don't need another $1 of salary, I would play Jackson Holiday. If you can use even another $1, I would play Brooks Lee.
Yeah. Okay. Roth, the roof is open in Arizona. Arizona has low humidity. Is there any impact on the game? I just looked at the temperature. It's as if it would be an indoor game, honestly. I don't think it's a massive difference. So my opinion, based on the temperature, is that it shouldn't have a big impact. FanDuel single entry Cheese, Vladdy or Buxton?
Those are probably two of my 4 or 5 favorite players on the whole slate. So for that reason, go Vlad. I think Buxton gets a little more ownership, but like really I just absolutely love them both.
Yeah. Jerry says, "Am I doing it wrong if I don't have Royce Miller in FanDuel Cash?"
Royce Lewis in FanDuel Cash?
No, Royce Miller.
Who the hell is Royce Miller? I'm pretty sure it's Royce Lewis.
Yeah, that's probably a missed.
I haven't run optimals. I don't think you're necessarily doing. I mean, Austin Riley is there as well. I'm not like I said, I'm not familiar with FanDuel Cash, so I don't want to speak too crazy to it. But I don't think Royce Lewis is like oh my god, if you didn't play him, this is an Ohtani or Judge in a good spot or something. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Gowan or Libertor, Cheese, last pitcher in.
Libertor.
Eric, Soderstrom or Rooker? FanDuel.
Geez, deciding between two children. I think Soderstrom would be a little more popular, just a platoon advantage, and he's like Nick Kurtz, but has shown that he can do it. Like everybody loves Soderstrom. He just hits. Whereas Rooker is like, Rooker was last year. He's still awesome, but he was last year. Soderstrom is this year, so we'll go Rooker.
Okay, very good. Erik, if it's 40 degrees outside and there's very low humidity and the dew point is only 40, what is the humidity percentage? It's 40 degrees and the dew point is 40.
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
It sounds like 80.
I wasn't listening to your rant. This is not. I just listen to what you tell me. Yeah. I don't do the math.
It's 100. It's 100% humidity. If it's 40 degrees and the dew point is 40, which is bone dry air, it shows 100% relative humidity. It's the dumbest thing ever. Is it humid if it's 40 degrees out? No, it's not freaking humid. There's barely any moisture in the air at 40 degrees.
Roth, it sounds like it is humid. That's 100%
humidity. It's not. We hit lock. We'll answer a couple questions and then we'll bounce. Cheese, can I get your top 3 pitchers on? You didn't say what on, but just your top 3 pitchers on.
Yeah. Wheeler and Sale, same as everybody else. And third, I mean, I like them so much better than everybody else. Third, you can pick any of 10 different guys. I'm going to say Seth Lugo.
Okay. Very good. We're going to clear on out to get one last question. Aside says, Roth, you can only pick one. Cirrus or Cumulus, what is your favorite cloud? Such a random question. I love it. Cirrus is the answer. They give you some very nice sunsets. So thank you for asking.
So you had a real answer to that.
Yeah, I do. I really feel pretty strongly about that one. And with that, I think we can bounce on out of here. So for Cheese, for Erik, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been